In this video, you will learn how to create this glow effect inside Photoshop step by step. Let's start. If you want to follow along, the link to this image will be in the video description. I will start by duplicating the background. Then I will hide the original copy. Then I will zoom in and use any selection method of my choice to create a selection around this flower. If you have downloaded this image, then go to the paths panel. I created a path here ready for you. Hold the Ctrl key and simply click here on the thumbnail to select it. Let's return to the layers panel. With this active selection, I'm going to add a copy by pressing Ctrl+J. As you can see, I'll rename the copy to flower. Then right click and convert it to smart object. I'll hide the layer for a moment and then I'll select this layer, go to the paths panel, hold the Ctrl key and load that selection again. Then I'll switch to any selection tool. Then I'll right click and then choose fill. You can also use the content away fill from here. On the fill dialog box, choose content away, make sure color adaptation is checked, blending mode is set to normal, opacity is 100%. Click OK. Let's deselect by pressing Ctrl+D. Let's now enable the layer at the top. With the layer selected, press Ctrl+T to scale it up. Let us hide the flower layer for a moment and then select this layer with the lady. Let us convert the image from daylight to night light. To do that, click on the adjustment layer icon here and then choose color lookup. Click inside here and choose moonlight 3D or night from day. This is the effect that we get so far. I am going to add the brightness adjustment layer and then reduce the brightness by -119 and increase the contrast to 65. With the brightness layer selected, hold the shift key and select the layer with the lady. Let's group them by pressing Ctrl+J. I will just rename it to night mode. Let us now enable the flower layer on top. Let's select it and change its blending mode from normal to linear dodge art. Then let us go to filter, blur, and then let's add Gaussian blur. Let us increase the radius of the edges to 5 pixels to make the edges softer. Then just click OK. Because the flower layer was converted to a smart object, the Gaussian blur comes in as a smart filter, which means we can always double click to change this value if we need to. Let's add another copy of it by pressing Ctrl+J. Then let's simply double click here and increase the radius from 5 pixels to 100 pixels. Let us add one more copy by pressing Ctrl+J. And let's double click here and increase the radius to 250. I'll press Ctrl+J again and increase the radius to 500. I will add the last copy by pressing Ctrl+J and increase it up to 800. Then click OK. With the topmost layer selected, hold the shift key and select this layer here. Group everything by pressing Ctrl+J and let us rename it. The next thing we need to do is to add the reflections to the face. I will expand the night mode group here, select color lookup and make sure the mask is selected. You can tell that the mask is selected because of this white bounding box around it. Then choose a soft round brush. Leave the opacity to 100% and reduce the flow. If I allow the flow to 100%, it will have a lot of influence over the image. But if I decide to reduce the flow, I'll be able to paint several times before I actually see the effect. That is what I want. So I'm going to leave the flow to like 20%. And then I'll press the D key to make sure I establish my default foreground and background color. Then I'll press the X key to make sure that the foreground color is set to black. Then with the mask selected, I'll zoom in and gradually begin to paint to reveal the reflections. I'll also select the mask of the brightness layer, then make sure the foreground is set to black and begin to paint to also review the details. The next thing I'm going to do is to import an image with a flame. I'll just move it to this position, then press Ctrl+T to transform it. Then I'll just hover outside and rotate it like so. Then confirm the transformation. To get rid of the black background, let us change the blending mode from normal to screen. Let us add another copy of it by pressing Ctrl+J. If you want a stronger effect, you can add another copy, just like so. Now I'm going to select these 3 layers, press Ctrl+J to group them, and I'll just rename it to flame. Then I can press Ctrl+T to scale the whole group up. Just like so. Let us see the before and after. I'll hold the Alt key and click on the background to show just the background. This is the before and this is the after. Thank you so much for watching the video to the end. If you got value out of this video, kindly support our channel by subscribing and giving us a like. I'm going to see you in the next one. Good luck.